In this video, I want to ask the question, is Jim Harbaugh Lloyd Carr 2.0? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar, and this is Big Discussions 76 Sports. Please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. So, even before the last 5 years unfolded, there were questions about how good Jimmy would be and whether or not he had the goods to return Michigan football to where it's supposed to be, or where we thought it was supposed to be. And, everyone knows how the last 5 years have gone. No wins against Ohio State. Usually, the team is now blowing a fart in the bowl game after losing to Ohio State. Meltdown games like the one up at Camp Randall, and just a whole bag of tricks, a whole trick bag of things, and no clear indicator of where the program is going. It's kind of hit this little lull. So it's not clear what's going to happen with the program, and if this is as good as it gets. I'm going to get to that later. And I recently recorded a video on Lloyd Carr, and I recorded a video on Drew Henson, and just kind of talking about Lloyd's tenure and the complaints during Lloyd's tenure. And I was just kind of asking, was Lloyd that bad a coach, and did he have to be run out of town the way that he was? So before I get into the potential similarities between Jimmy and Lloyd, I want to once again invoke Joel Klatt's statement from this last year. So this last year, things got pretty bad. Especially once the speed and space got off to a slow start, and we had the blowout loss up at Wisconsin, and the last minute loss against Penn State, and those kinds of things. And the questions arose, should Jim go back to the NFL, and all kinds of things. And so I don't know what made Joel Klatt make this statement, but he basically went on record as saying, the Michigan football program has classically been a competitive program. However, it's not a program that's been in the hunt for the national title every single year. So it's had if I heard him correctly, it's had a level of success on average every year, and then it'll have a few good years every so often. That's how I interpreted what Joel Klatt said. And so I think he was responding to the very, very lofty expectations of our fan base, and also all the criticisms being hurled at Jim Harbaugh. And I think Joel Klatt is fair, just like I think Kirk Herbstreit is fair, and even now, from what I've seen of him, I think Urban Meyer is fair. So I thought that was interesting that Joel Klatt would say that, and it begs the question, are the expectations for the Michigan football program unrealistic, especially with all of the nuances associated with our program, which I'll probably get into in another video. So how similar are Lloyd Carr and Jim Harbaugh? Well, As I said in my Lloyd Carr video, when I was a graduate student from 1999 to 2005, 2006, the program was, it operated at like a, what I'll call a baseline level, and then there were the potential for good years every couple of years like this. And, I'm going to pull my friend Aleem Abdul Gaines in, who did not like Lloyd Carr. He said, we got to get rid of Lloyd Carr. He's a 3 to 4 loss coach on average every year. And, so then the question is, since Jimmy has taken over, how has he done in comparison to Lloyd Carr? And I would assert that Jim's win-loss record has been similar. The football team is not a doormat like it was under Brady Hoke, and the same thing for Rich Rod. Though Rich Rod's program was trending upwards when he got fired by Dave Brandon, but Jimmy has restored the program to a level of competitiveness, but it hasn't broken through into that top tier. It's had 1 or 2 chances to break it up there, but through strategy, poor strategy, and maybe picking the wrong quarterback, there's been some things that have hindered his teams from jumping into the top tier. Some of Don Brown's calls, particularly in the 2018 game, those are things that I think interfered with the team jumping up into the top tier. And then, the question now also is what's the quality of the recruiting? So let's see. So Jim hasn't beaten Ohio State, and the last 2 years have been particularly bloody. Lloyd was loyal to his assistants, though while I was there, I think the offensive coordinator and the quarterbacks coach, I think that turned over a couple of times under Lloyd. And under Jim is fiercely loyal as well. So Jim has, once Don Brown came in, no matter how much criticism Don Brown has gotten, Jim will all in likelihood hold on to Don until Don wants to leave. And Lloyd Carr was the same way, I believe, with Jim Herman. I think Jim Herman was his guy since the national title year, and Jim Herman left after the 2005 season, after Troy Smith and the Ohio State offense shredded us again. So I think both coaches have achieved a similar level of success in terms of wins every year, and they seem to be loyal to their assistants. And towards the end of Lloyd's tenure, he wasn't very successful against Ohio State. And aside from the 2016 game and maybe the 2017 game, Jim hasn't had much luck, and he hasn't had any luck against Ohio State. They did lose the 2016 game and the 2017 game, but those games were closer. They came down to the last couple of minutes and the last couple of plays. So I'm going to close this video with that and say that there are similarities between Jimmy and Lloyd Carr. And then, so then we go back to what are the realistic expectations for the program, and what are realistic expectations for the program, and what are unrealistic expectations for the program. And while everyone is calling for, well, as certain parts of the fan base and parties outside of the program are calling for Jim's head, is this what Michigan is? Are we a program that is not a doormat, that can beat the teams that it's supposed to beat, but will only have stellar years every now and then. So I'm going to stop this video here. That's pretty much all I wanted to say, and that was the core question that I wanted to ask. And it's interesting because, you know, again, and I'm going to get to this in a video after this, as much as people wanted Lloyd Carr out, you know, once things got bad and the team became a doormat, you know, at least some of us were wondering, dang, well, maybe having Lloyd wasn't that bad, and maybe what he had established wasn't so bad after all. And maybe, you know, if Jim leaves and the next coach does worse than him, maybe we'll be faced with the same dilemma and the same afterthoughts. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. Go Blue. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.